Welcome to 574 Sports here on 91.1 The Globe. My name is Spencer Buttermore.
And I'm Hoover. Today I sit down with the Maple Leaf Athlete of the Week as I fill in for Tanner Camp.
And also Brad Stoltzfus sits down with a Maple Leaf coach. That's coming up right here on 574 Sports on 91.1 The Globe.
Welcome back to 574 Sports. I'm Hoover. Now joined with me is Sidney Stein, the Maple Leaf Athlete of the Week this week. Sidney, it's been an amazing season so far, a little bit rough on some of the edges, but you know what? Season debut last week came in with a double-double, so what a great way to start. And then earlier this week, 18 points. So congratulations on becoming Maple Leaf Athlete of the Week, and just so far, a great season for you. Right. I mean, taking a look, how does it feel, just straight off the bat? How does it feel having this high honor?
Honestly, it feels really good. I put a lot of effort into it. I thank my teammates for really pushing me every day. I go against some tall freshmen, Murph, that we have every day in practice. That pushes me to be better. And I know that if I'm not there, if I'm not present, then they're easily just going to step up and take me. So it feels really good to be noticed and to know that all the work I'm putting in is paying off.
And I know athletes like you and Tanner and Murph and all across the board, you guys put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. And what was your mindset coming out of, summer and fall, transitioning into season? And how did you guys work that out this year?
I knew coming out of last season, coming into this season over the summer, that I really had to put in work. I really had to step up because we lost 7 really good seniors last year, and I had a lot of big spots to fill, and I think all of us had the right mindset of coming in the summer and really putting in our workouts and doing well, and it paid off as we came into preseason. We ran pain parties so much better. Everything just flew so much smoothly, and it was like we were all in one and ready to go.
Now, how has your team been this year? I mean, you said you put in a lot of effort. I mean, the team as a whole is a very young team. You guys lost a lot of seniors. How are you guys doing this season, and what is your ultimate goal by the end of this year?
I feel like we come up short every time. I mean, our first couple of games we lost, they were hard. But I just feel like this team never gives up, and that's something that will always continue to happen no matter what we lose. We'll win games that we shouldn't have won, we'll lose games that we should have, but just something that comes up is just we always work hard in practice, and we always come back and want to be better. Our bounce back from losing multiple games this year has already been great, so it's really nice.
That's awesome. So what will be your favorite moment of, preseason, the actual season this year, heck, even over summer and team bonding?
Every year we do a team retreat, so coach usually spoils us and takes us out of state and spends quite a bit of money on us. This year we went to Grand Rapids and dressed up and walked around the mall and did silly scavenger hunts, and I guess it was just really fun just being with the team and just learning how what brings us here and what we're really all here to do. It was really nice.
So any final thoughts, comments, inspirational quotes that you'd like to add?
I would just say that really this team is the hardest team I've ever been a part of. My freshman year I came in with great senior leadership. That was a good way to start my freshman year. Last year we still worked hard in spurts, but sometimes there's just so much of it's just a different atmosphere, and this year is so much great. We have 2 good leaders for our seniors, Carly and Caitlin. Hannah also is one of them, and I think Haley and I have some spots to fill even next year, but I think this team is one of the hardest working teams we've ever had. So.
Well, thank you, Sidney, for joining me. I'm filling in for Tanner Camp this week for 574 Sports. Let's take a quick timeout.
For Maple Leaf Athletics, I'm Brad Stoltzfus, here with head coach of the men's soccer team, Aaron Patrick, and today we're kind of going to be talking about coaching philosophy and what you have grown up knowing and what you're kind of teaching your players. So we'll begin by asking, what is your playing and coaching background?
As we were just discussing, I grew up playing on the street, so that's how I learned how to play, dodging cars and dribbling up and down sidewalks and making moves around lampposts and things like that. So it sounds cliche, but that's literally how I learned to play the game.
Since coming into the program 4 seasons ago, how would you describe your overall coaching philosophy at Goshen College?
It's definitely changed. I guess when I think of philosophy, it's kind of sandwiched in between style and mentality. And if you don't have the right mentality for the philosophy, then you can't create the style that you want. So for me, I started with building a mentality here rather than a philosophy. So the guys were on that team the first year. I'd never coached them before. I was never going to create a certain philosophy with a group in 3 weeks' time to get them ready for their first season. So we just worked on mentality. We always talk about organization, commitment, and intensity. And those are 3 things that we felt that really needed to change, that needed to be the foundation of what our program was. The philosophy that year was winning. Like, teach this team how to win. And if we do these 3 things really well, it doesn't matter what our philosophy or our style is, we can be competitive in every game. And if we're competitive in our sport, we've got a chance of winning.
What other experiences in your life have helped you shape your coaching philosophy?
I definitely think growing up in a tough environment, I love where I'm from, but I would never go back there to live. It's a tough environment. I love my kids growing up here because it's a much safer environment. But growing up where I did in Grimsby definitely toughened me, definitely made me have a chip on my shoulder, definitely made me work hard to get away from there. And that's definitely apparent in the way I coach and the way my players play. We're definitely a hard-nosed team. We're a tough team to beat. We can play really poorly and win because we're tough to beat. And that's a lot to do with probably my coaching style. It's that workman-like mentality, that no matter how good I recruit and how good the talent is, we will never lose that. You'll hear me being hard on some of the more talented players in the team, because I don't want them to ever forget that the hard work that the guys before them put in to get the program to the platform they're at now, receiving votes nationally. My first year, we could never have thought of doing that. But those guys in that first year worked so hard to create that mentality that we're not going to lose it now because we have more talented players,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Can you recall one moment in the last 4 seasons that it was kind of some type of perhaps an advance in your philosophy, or some moment in a match where you just thought, I'll need the team to focus on this a little bit more as kind of like the statement or idea for your coaching philosophy?
If we go to the hard-nosed side things, the mentality side things, I know that we have not lost what we built in the first year because of games like Spring Arbor, because of games like Indiana Wesleyan. We dominated possession in a lot of games this year. So my style, which we've now built, is where I want it to be. We need to get more consistent with it, but it's where I want it to be. But I know that the hard nose and the tough mentality is still there, because when we play a team like Spring Arbor, and I say, you know what, we're going to pack it in a little bit and counterattack these guys and play ugly and play mean, these guys aren't too big for their boots and say, whoa, we can outpossess everyone, why don't we try it against them? We know this is the game plan. We know that we can be humble and say, these guys might be better than us technically, but we can still beat them if we have the right mentality. So 2 games this year for sure that allowed me to see that they're still humble guys and they're still willing to graft with those 2 games. On the flip side, the games there was 2 games this year where I saw the style was finally there and that we could beat really good teams playing really good soccer and opening up. The Indiana Tech game and the Roosevelt game. They're 2 really good teams every year. Roosevelt's going to nationals this year, and we beat them 3-0. And it was comfortable. We opened up. We played really good football. We outpossessed them. Those are things that in my time here, and even before, Goshen weren't outpossessing teams. Not very often anyway. We're outpossessing teams that are going to national tournaments, 60, 70% possession. That's a huge change from what I had my first couple of years here. So that's why now I say we have a style. Because it's one thing to do that in training, it's one thing to do that against teams that you're winning 4-5-0 against, but it's another to do it to a national caliber team. Grace he's one of my favorite coaches. They've done awesome this year. They're going to a national tournament. We played them down here and we had 68% possession against them. Now we lost the game. Maybe they were a little bit tougher than us on certain areas of the game. It wasn't our best performance as far as winning, but we outpossessed another team who's going to nationals. For us, that's part of the process. We're going to lose those games sometimes. But moving forward, I know now, man, we played Madonna, they're going to the national tournament. We played Grace, they're going to the national tournament. We played Roosevelt, we're going to the national tournament. And we had good results against those teams. So that confidence going into next year, when basically we get to rinse and repeat what we did this year, is pretty high. So,
Coach Patrick, thanks for your time.
thank you, sir. Sorry,
I'm Brad Stoltzfus for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Here on 574 Sports, we take a look at this weekend. Starting things off on the basketball court, women will be at home this weekend against Indiana University Kokomo, tip set for 1 p.m. Also, the men take to the road as they take on Davenport University, tip for 3 p.m.
And also, 2 cross-country runners have made it to the NAIA National Championship. The men will be running at 1 o'clock, with the women running at 2:30. That's all the time we have for today on 574 Sports. Thanks for joining us here on 91.1 The Globe, your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.